This is a screencast on AQA GCSE Religious Studies, and it's how to do a question 3. These will be in the format explain to, and then it will be one of 3 options. Either contrasting, where it's going to ask you to look at opposite or different views. Similar, which are views which are the same-ish. It can't be exactly the same, but similar. And the third type is about influences, where you need to think about how a belief might change behaviour. Question 3s are worth 4 marks, and on a minute a mark, that's approximately 4 minutes. The examiner is expecting to see 2 developed reasons, which is going to look like 2 small paragraphs. These could be made up with each paragraph being 2 sentences, because then you're making a point and then you're developing it. And to make sure that you're getting lots of detail, about 15 words minimum per sentence. They must be full of correct knowledge and appropriate keywords to show the examiner that you really know what you're talking about. In the exam, it will be approximately 10 lines of writing. So, in some sections, it will ask you to refer to the main religious tradition of Great Britain. That is expecting you to write about Christianity. Make sure if it has this in the question, you write about Christianity in one denomination or another. The mark scheme shows here how you have 2 developed points. So if you make a simple explanation of the answer, then you get 1 mark, and then as soon as you develop it, it gets 2 marks. That's your first paragraph. Then a second paragraph exactly the same, making a different point or a similar point, a contrasting point, or talking about another influence. Here's an example. So if we look at this question, explain 2 ways that belief in life after death influences Christians. So we're looking at 2 ways that their belief about the afterlife makes them do things today. Here's a sample answer that a student has written. Now straight away, if I'm an examiner, I can't see 2 paragraphs. I'm already thinking possibly they may not have written 2 developed reasons. Let's have a look at their answer. They want to be good, they don't want to do anything bad, they might be scared, they want to please God, they don't want to upset him. Very short, simple statements. So if we think about it, the examiner's going to say there's no paragraph in there, it lacks detail, no keywords there other than God. You wouldn't even know that it was a Christian answer because it lacks Christian teachings. Here's a second example answer. Now straight away, as an examiner, you can see that there are 2 paragraphs, but I'm looking for 2 paragraphs with detail about influences. One way it influences them is that they don't want to do bad things in life. They follow the rules as much as they can and are nice to strangers. Another way is that they will pray if they do something wrong. They might even speak to a priest. So thoughts on this one? Yep, we've got the 2 paragraphs, but it lacks the detail. Few religious words. We've got pray and priest. That's all. And actually, it doesn't talk about anything to do with life after death. It doesn't link the question life after death with what they're going to do. It just says how they're going to live their lives. Example answer 3 then. We've got 2 paragraphs. Have a read through this and then I can explain what the examiner might look at. Straight away we can see that there are 2 paragraphs. It looks as though there is lots of detail. So if we unpick these, we can see that in the yellow they've made their point, and in green they've developed their point. In both of these cases, these 2 points have been developed in some way. If we then look for keywords in the person's answer, I've highlighted these in pink. You can see that these keywords stand out, completely different from the first example looked at. And if we look carefully, these keywords link to belief in life after death. We have hell, we have heaven. We have the things that actually some Christians believe might happen to people when they die, and then we've got the actual actions that people are going to do and examples of how they link to Christian teachings, for example the parable of the sheep and goats. So finally, some question 3 tips. Keep it as 2 developed reasons, 2 small paragraphs. Make sure it's jam-packed full of knowledge and appropriate keywords which show the examiner you know what you're answering, and link it to the question. Make sure that what you are writing about is actually what's been asked.